Let's see what we're gonna be doing. Today we're gonna do some deadlifts, nothing heavy, like we've been talking about. We're gonna take it easy. Probably start with sets of 12, 145 sets, and then finish with AMRAP. We're probably doing some kind of rolling movement. We might use the landmine, do some rows there, some over barbell rows. Then from there, we'll probably move to a shrugging movement. A lot of times I try to do like a high T-shaped movement on the rows, and then something with the what's called V. So when we got today, we'll be back in, we'll figure out like some curls in there somewhere, curls for curls. Let's see how it goes. Like I said, we'll start with deadlifts right now. I can tell you, we're talking about the last workout. My main goal is to be losing weight. Basically, I wore shorts today, and it was kind of cold outside. It's not freezing, but it's cool. Biggest part for me is losing weight. This 6'2", 317, 318. First goal is to get down to about 250. So, biggest thing biggest thing I've always had trouble with is sticking to a diet, especially in a calorie deficit. When I get hungry, I want to eat. When I play ball, I was offensive defensive line. I was wrestling heavyweight, judo heavyweight. And judo's an overweight division, not like wrestling. You're heavyweight. Ironically, I was a small heavyweight in high school. I wrestled at about 220, 225. But still, never had to worry about weight. So diet's been the hardest part for me whenever I've tried to cut weight. So any suggestions, any recommendations on diets that are kind of easy to stay on, can be filling, but at the same time you can cut weight, bring them on. Let me hear them. All right. Warm-up's done. About to get in the first working set of deadlifts. On deadlifts, if you're just getting started, back whenever I was, anybody can pick up and reach down and pick up weight. But for me, a good resource that I used whenever I was first learning to deadlift with technique is Starting Strength. I forget the guy's name. Maybe I can edit his name in here, but Starting Strength got a channel on YouTube. I forget his name. Out of Texas. Look up Starting Strength, beginner deadlift. He's also got a book, Starting Strength, for basic linear programming. But the way he sets up on the bar is basically the way I still set up on the bar since I learned it. I'm not a big deadlifter. I really don't. Deadlift's a great lift. I just don't like it. But the way I set up on the bar is the way I learned from him watching YouTube years ago. So. And he's been around forever. He's old as hell now. I forget his name. But anyways, deadlifts. First working set, 145. I keep saying 145 because it's not 135. I've got 5-pounders on the bar, so it puts the bar at 55 pounds. So, and like I said, just this first month back, nice and easy. I think the last time I was working out heavier, doing sets at 315, something like that. Still not super heavy for deadlifting or for my size, but whatever, Gotta be you. Basic way I set up on the bar is feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart. I am most comfortable with my toes slightly outward. Just far enough away from the bar that whenever I kick my hips back to approach the bar, my shins will go just far enough forward that it touches the bar. If I end up moving the bar, or I push the bar with my shins, or if I don't touch the bar with my shins, I'm either too close or too far away, I do a slight readjustment. I'm not going super heavy, so it's not super critical, but it's just try to do it the same way every time. And once I kick my hips back, my shin will graze the bar straight down, grab the bar, straight up my shins. I'm not dragging up my shins, it's not a competition, not lifting heavy, but I try to stay just close enough to my shins that I can tickle my hair. And then when I go down, straight back down the same path. Any tips or tricks for deadlift, shoot them my way. That's how I do it. Keep my back in a neutral position. Everybody says keep your back straight, but really keep your back in a neutral position. You don't want to get all, well, I was going to say you don't want to get all cat hump, cat back, whatever. But I've heard some people say as long as it stays in that position through the whole lift, it's basically stable. So I guess what you want to avoid is if once you hit weight, you don't want to try to rubber band it up with your back, I guess. So, sumo deadlift. Never really haven't been into sumo deadlift. It's just not a comfortable position for somebody that doesn't like deadlifting. Anyways, I do deadlifting enough to say I do it. But I really prefer good mornings. I prefer the, not the reverse hyper, but just hyper extensions or reverse sit-ups, whatever you want to call it. I'd rather do a minute or two of those because I can really, for me, I can really set it in, get it tight in the upper part of my glutes, my lower back. And then if you really get tired, you can just stop, you know. Again, it's probably not as good as a deadlift. You're not going to lift as much weight, but again, for me, staying healthy at my age with this broke down old body, it's okay. It's okay. Need to find a way to play some music. Most of the time I have some music playing, but who knows with YouTube how, you know, maybe I can overdub it with some of their, what do you call it, free source music or whatever that is. Cardio days. We need some help with cardio days. Anybody have any recommendations for good cardio? I've got a little stations I can set up where I do like a station of cardio, like we used to do back when I was competing in judo. Pretty good. Not gonna run. My fat ass ain't gonna run. My knees are already fucked, and so is my hips. So I won't be running. Biking, I think you can do that at the gym. If I had access to a pool, I wouldn't mind swimming. Old-fashioned walking, do some of that. But yeah, some fun stuff. More activity kind of gets me into it, man. You just ride on a bike or walking or whatever. Just mind-numbing. So, interesting cardio. You can help me out with that. That'd be great. So, all right, let's get this next set. So like I said, I approach the bar. I'll basically get my shins. I kind of got long arms. So I'll kind of get my legs set where I want them at, just far enough away from the bar. And as I kick my hips out, and I don't do this robot perfect every time, but because sometimes I'll place one hand before the other. Because I kind of know where my body wants to be. I guess my shins are about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches away from the bar. So that as I kick my hips back and sink into position, they just touch the bar. What's his name from Starting Strength? He says don't move the bar. For me, as long as the bar doesn't start rolling, I'm enough. You can see I'm kind of slightly touching the bar. And then I'll set one hand, set the other hand without sacrificing my back position. And then from there, straight up the shins. Hips through. Thought about it. I'm just gonna let the camera record. See if I can try my hand at editing later, so I guess if anything I can fast forward, skip, whatever. Saves me from going back and forth. Well, I'm about to do some editing for real. I was looking at my workout plan. Lost that last clip, I have to put them together. So, the next exercise is supposed to be a chin-up, but my fat ass cannot do chin-up. So, just as an experiment for the channel or whatever, I guess what I could try is just some negatives. Hold it as long as I can. You know, negatives, I don't know the way to say it. Oh. I feel like I need something a little bit more stable than a bar. Famous last words, right? Seems like it's hard to get in a full chin-up position here, but we got curls later on, so I'll just stick with this for now. Oh. Oh. Weak on the chin-ups. Okay, enough of the chin-ups. So next we got chest supported rows. So let me get that set up. I'm gonna be doing like a high row. I want to hit the upper back. We'll lower it down to that, hit that lower trap or whatever. Not trap, whatever the fuck this is. Rich Piana passed away, God bless. I used to love his free source music on his videos. Dun, 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 seems like a character, Rich Piana. Probably cool to work out. In the dungeon. If I remember right, just the kind of cost, if anybody's looking to set up their own little simple home gym like this, when I bought it, which has been 7-8 years ago, the power rack I think was about $650. I want to say I bought a set of bumper plates and a bar that might have been $150, $200, I don't remember really. And then just a simple dumbbell set with some weights, and I've added to the weight since then. So I don't know. Everything here all said and done, like the most expensive stuff per item was probably the Bulgarian bags. I think the 50 pounder I got, it was like $350. It's made out of leather, I guess. But those bad boys will whoop your ass if you do it right. Bulgarian bags are for real. That's one of the couple of the stations I set up for cardio days. And if you're in a spot and you just need some weight to do some front squats or something, just to get some blood flowing, works. You can really do anything with them. Front squats, curls, you can do the Bulgarian bag exercises. We'll do some of it, don't worry. What I'd really like to get is a throwing dummy, like a 150, 200 pound throwing dummy, just to pick up, junk around. All right. First working session. Whereas with pressing, really baby in the right shape, it still doesn't feel right. But on the pulling exercises, you'll probably see me as my body remembers. You'll see me step up a little fast, a little faster. Forgot to drink water. Find that song. We'll find some more Rich Piana, see if it's listed on there. Right there. Rich Piana was a trip. Another channel I like following is Alexander Bromley. I think it's one of his videos he talks about like once you hit a weight or a certain level of strength in your back off, your body almost remembers what it's like to get back there. So getting back to that strength, not easy, but you can get back to it relatively quickly. And then again, that might be for young guys. I don't know about old farts like me. Kind of a wintry, wet day. My snowblower hanging out in the gym. I'm not using it. The snow around the parking lot, it was all that high when the last snow came through. Okay, about halfway through the workout, gonna move to some shrugs. I'll show you how I do shrugs. I like it. See if you can try it, see if you like it. But some people call it, so you see a lot of guys on a barbell shrug. They're here and they're just yeah. I don't, works for them. I personally don't like it. Actually, something I picked up, Rich Piana. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, is the pause. And it's nothing new. I'm sure other people have said it, but coming up and pause. And then what I've found, maybe I'll set the camera up on the side so you can see it. I think they call it either like a clean shrug, or because you know how the where you have the power clean. So basically, I'll let the barbell ride down my thighs just a little bit and come up and shrug back and hold. And so I find also it helps me get into a rhythm as opposed to just letting the weight hang and then up and hold, up and hold. You know, kind of get into a rhythm, bring my hips back and hold. So we'll try that. Try it, see if you like it. Go face the camera. All right. So, I'll probably get my feet a little bit narrower than whenever I deadlift or when I squat. I don't like to be way out. I don't like to be too tight. Somewhere in between. Generally on whatever bar you're working out on, normally you can find a finger placement you like. And I suppose you could change it up. I don't know if it hits different parts of the traps, I guess. So some guys will get the bar and then just like that. And then some guys do the pause, right? Me, I'll start from a standing hang position, I guess. Ease it down. And then like I'm gonna clean it up. And chances are I'm doing this wrong. Somebody can correct me. But where I really feel is that hold. When I come down and set it back, that hold is where I really feel it. Can you see that? Feels good in here to work out though. Moving around, hold. Once you get warmed up, let's go. And you just kind of dissipate that heat out of your One of the funniest low-key jokes in cinema history. Go back and watch the original Rocky, right? And whenever Rocky's first telling his buddies that he's got a date with what's her name? Adrian. Whenever Rocky's first got a date with Adrian, his friends are like, "Well, I thought she was," I know it's not PC, but this is, late 70s, early 80s. And his friends are like, "Well, I thought she was retarded," right? It's like, why don't you take her to the zoo? Retards love the zoo, right? And of course, Rocky's like, "Oh, she ain't retarded." The very next cutscene is him and Adrian in the middle of the winter, like it is out there in Philadelphia or whatever, walking through the zoo. So, me as hell. "Hey, yo, Adrian, you want to go to the zoo?" Ugh. All right. Next step. Let me get myself in trouble on that. Exercise wrong enough, it becomes a back exercise. Up in the hang position with the knees. Right, baby. Curls for the girls. Easy bar or dumbbell? Dumbbell. any tips for curls because I've always sucked at them. Coming up in school as an offensive and defensive lineman, especially offensive lineman, never was a priority. We're just big and sexy anyway. I guess I do have one little tip, trick, whatever I like to do on curls, and that's in profile, I'll break my wrist. I see some guys, they're just like, they curl it forward, and for sure that gets some form into it. I always found I had trouble really feeling my bicep up top. So whenever I roll forward and I curl, I feel it at the front of the bicep. Whereas if I break the wrist, right? And I understand the muscle is the most contracted when the palm is rotating out and that's really contracted, right? But I find that if I let that bar roll forward in my hand and get it right here, is at the ball of your hand, like it'd be the ball of your foot, hold it there, let my wrist break, and then curl from there, slightly rock the elbow back. I find that I can feel it up here. Now again, you lose that forearm part of it, but you can do that anytime, right? You can do that anytime, especially on the cable curls. I might mix it up every other set when I'm doing regular, right? And then as I'm going, if I feel my hand getting tired, I'll stop, let it roll out, break the wrist, let that elbow ride forward just a little bit, get it up topping that bicep. Arm titties. All right, next step. Boom, boom. That's in my head now. Can't see if somebody's coming up behind me now. Again, we'll stay nice and light, the 25s. See if we can feel it. I always have to be careful controlling the weight down. You don't want to control it too much, or I don't because I have shoulder trouble, but on the cable flies, I tend to be able to control it better, but we'll see how it goes. All right, let's get set in. Go ahead and knock this last one out, call it a day. That's it. Time to pack out the gym. Oh! I don't want my phone to get wet. snowmobile. Or not the snowmobile, snowboard. Lights out, go home.